We have a huge network of trails out here that have been created informally and socially, so just by people walking or biking or using the trails, and there wasn't any planning or design behind that. So some of those trails are going to be in areas that are sensitive, are wet, have species that are sensitive to disturbance, so we want to go in and determine where can people go out and walk and still enjoy it without impacting the system.
We're looking at the map right now, April, because we're going to be going for a walk through the Oak Ridge's East Corridor, the property that's owned by the TRCA, Toronto Regional Conservation Authority. And it looks to me, the map says that we should start going that way.
Yep, we're going to head south.
Let's get going and we'll see where it takes us.
We're hoping that because this property hasn't been used extensively yet, we can get in ahead of the curve and start to plan a good trail system. This area that we've come through, actually, the trail is just off to our right a little bit, and this is, again, an informal trail that's been created by an ATV coming through. And unfortunately, an area where a number of trees were planted, and you can see right here that one's been taken out with the rabbit guard. So this is a really steep slope over here. Somebody took a first bike or a first ATV or a first walk down it, and over time, with lots and lots of users running down it again and again, it's just eroded. And that's an example of why informal trails need to be managed, because you see that sort of damage. They sometimes don't realize that this isn't an area they should be ATVing around in, so we're educating them to say, no, this is a protected property and there's sensitive species here and you are causing damage.
Okay, so we've been out here for like 4 hours now.
Getting tired?
Yeah, I'm getting tired. But we found a fire here on the ground, or I mean, it's the remnants of a fire.
A fire pit.
So what do you think's happened here? And what's the problem with it? I mean, it's out in the middle of nowhere. Who's hurting who? Yeah.
So this is clearly some people who are out here and they've built a fire. The problem with this is if this catches some of the grass, if it gets left smoldering, this could cause huge damage really quickly.
And I've noticed in a few of these spots that we found, we're also finding beer bottles.
Yeah.
So clearly we're drinking, hopefully not riding bikes at the same time, but who knows? Yeah. Which is, I guess, part of the reason why we want to get them out of here, make it safer for people that are walking through with a family, don't want to come across.
And wildlife coming through with broken glass.
Okay, so April, this is like completely different than like 50 paces ago, it seems. This land is just, like, it's unreal.
So we've gotten into an area here that is much higher and drier. So we're looking at some good mature trees. It's what we call an upland forest. So it's a much better drained area. And we're seeing different types of trees and different understory. Whereas, you know, a little further north, it was all creeks and valleys and high and low.
Okay, and now just over the right here, there's a whole pile of wood. Clearly it's not natural to the area.
The timbers,
Where did this come from?
So this is actually, these were bike jumps that we've taken out. So when you look in the forest, you can see where these bike jumps were all attached to the trees. Okay. And we've gone through and taken the wood from the jumps off, and we're just waiting to be able to haul that wood out. So this is something that some bike enthusiasts would have built, and they've brought out some lumber, so some of this is stuff they brought in, but they've also cut down what I'm sure they thought were dead trees and built this jump out of. So we're concerned about this for a lot of reasons. These are, well, they're dead trees. They were providing habitat where they were. Whether they were laying on the ground or whether they were standing, this was habitat that they've cut up and turned into a jump. You also have a 6-foot drop off the end, obviously a significant safety hazard. And the actual condition of this, I mean, this is rotted wood that this is sitting on. I mean, that's not even attached to the ground.
We're working on taking all of these out to provide public safety and also to keep the habitat in a safer environment.
Exactly. Yeah.
Very good. Okay, so we've walked into another area that looks again different than some of the other areas, and I have to be honest, I haven't been through many forests that have like a beach
face on them, sand face.
Yeah. So, as I understand, it's not natural.
No. And actually where most of it's coming from is from the far end of the forest. If you were to walk down that way, there's a narrow trail. It's almost a dry creek bed, and there's water runoff that is traveling through the forest at a really fast speed. And when it comes in here, because it flattens out and widens out, the water's spreading out, it's dumping all this sand, and that's what you're seeing in here.
So as it's been explained to me, and we're still in the preliminary stages of knowing if it's really the root cause.
Yeah.
Further on to the west, there's a stormwater management pond that may not be working at its peak capacity.
Yeah. Yeah, we know that there was a historic drainage pattern through here, so there would have been a very intermittent, almost dry creek that would have run through the forest, so you would have had a little bit of water during a storm event, but because of the development in the stormwater management plan, you're going to have a concentration of flow. And then you add in, there's the bridge on Bayview, there's some flow coming off of Bayview, we have all of that concentrating together. Add to that, there's some significant damage on the slopes near Bayview from ATVing and dirt biking. That's going to cause the soils to be loose. All of that added together, we think is contributing to this problem.
Well, I think we're just out here now and the cars to the right.
Yep.
That was a fantastic hike.
It was a great day for it.
Yeah, we really lucked out. I want to thank you so much.
No problem. Thank you for coming out, for your support.
And I think the viewers, when they actually see this video, are going to appreciate better the hard work that it takes to actually plan out a trail. So I think the work that the people at the Toronto Regional Conservation Authority are doing a great job.
Thank you.
Of course, in partnership with our staff at the town of Richmond Hill.
Of course.
Again, this is Greg Beros, councillor here in Oak Ridges, a wonderful community in the town of Richmond Hill. I want to thank my friend April from the Toronto Regional Conservation Authority for joining me and guiding me on this hike, and it didn't get me lost, so that was good.
It's true. It's true.
And I want to thank our camera crew. They walked where we walked. And of course, I want to thank you, the viewer, for taking your time to watch this video and to learn more about the Oak Ridges Moraine and the Oak Ridges Corridor here in Oak Ridges. Thanks so much. Talk to you later.